Are we live?
We're live.
Oh boy, we're live. Okay. Welcome everybody.
Hello.
Oh, welcome to the April 1st, 2021. Happy half hour here.
Oh, good. You made it. All right, so I'm gonna go be in the back end then. Bye.
Well, Sam, I just welcomed everybody. And, I'm David Shakavich. For those of you who are new, I am the founder and president of Carolina Retirement Planners here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And with me is my daughter and now partner in the business, Sam Shakavich.
Hi.
And we are here for an April 1st edition. Naturally, this is April Fool's Day.
It's also my dog Jessie's birthday. It's her 12th birthday. And I just found out that it's also Amy's dog's birthday.
It is. It's Yeti Spaghetti's birthday too.
Yeah, it's an auspicious day here for dogs, I guess, it just, I don't know if I have any clients that are born on April 1st. It's the kind of thing you remember. I got some born on New Year's Day and all, but I don't recall one April 1st. So I have to go back up from 9 months from then and see when that would be. Anyway, we won't go there. So Sam, what kind of tricks did someone play on you you have any good April Fool's jokes that people played on you?
Well, but the one that's always stood out to me was my best friend Bree growing up put my car on Craigslist. She put my car up for sale on Craigslist for $1,000, and my phone rang off the hook. I also remember during college, some of our friends put an ad up for free goats. Had pretended like our friend was selling free goats, which he had, unbeknownst to him, he did not have any goats, much less any free goats. And what was interesting was people got really upset about it. They got really upset that he did not have free goats.
Well, one of the things I listen to every morning is a show called Darren Daily. It's like 3 or 4 minutes of inspirational stuff. Darren Hardy does it. And today he showed a clip from one of the classic New Year's Eve or April Fool's Day's joke. It goes back to 1957 and the British Broadcasting Corporation. And it was one of the first TV shows, when TV was like, a little round black and white thing. And they had a show talking about how there was a bumper crop in southern Switzerland, where it kind of meets Italy, of spaghetti. There was the spaghetti trees were really producing a lot of spaghetti. And they had little films, the ladies picking spaghetti off trees and laying it out, and talked about how they dried it, and talked about how the spaghetti weevil or whatever it wasn't very prevalent this year, so they had more than ever. And people believed it. And it was really professionally done. You can imagine in the early days of TV, if you saw that and had no idea how spaghetti was made. And they were, we're talking about the difference between the Swiss spaghetti and the Italian spaghetti trees. And it was well done. Google it. It's probably there somewhere. Well, we've got some folks that have joined us. Who has joined us, Sam?
Oh, man. So today we have Bruce who's joined us. Welcome, Bruce, and Miranda.
Miranda, a regular.
Yes, we have made it. And Paula, I'm so sorry if any of y'all logged in at 4:30 a.m. this morning.
If anybody was up logging in at 4:30 a.m., let me know, because I want to laugh really hard. Not at you, but with you.
Yeah, it was sort of a April Fool's joke, although arguably an inadvertent one, but so, yeah.
We'll never tell if we meant it.
And Ellen is here.
Baby John Paul.
Yeah.
And Lori.
Another top fan, Brent, is here. And that's from Maine. He says now the snow is finally gone. Carol Ann is here. Bruce, David, and Pat are here.
And Bruce, Amy's dog is Yeti.
Yes, her full name is Yeti Spaghetti. Like she's a registered French bulldog, and it's just Yeti Spaghetti. This is ridiculous.
She is so sweet. I love her. Amy has the best dog.
I see Dan and Barbara here from the mountains. It's good to hear from them. Lanny is here, another very regular. Nadine is here. Now, by the way, if you're on right now, one thing you could do that'd be really cool is to go down below where it says share and click on share, and then it'll say watch party, start watch party. And you can begin, if you click on that, it'll tell all your friends that you're watching this, and they can come join us and get a little education as well. And it's always fun to get a bigger and bigger crowd and a way to kind of introduce some of the stuff to other people. And we have Valerie here, Bob and Valerie here. Rick is here. Rick and Marcy are here. Ed is here. Boy, these are all regulars. Jay and Carter are here.
Oh,
Ellen.
and Megan.
Yeah, so it's great to see you all. You know, we better get going because today may go a little long. What are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about why somebody who is in or near retirement might want to consider life insurance.
Yeah, this is often a question we have is why would I use life insurance in retirement? And so I've kind of put a list of stuff so I remember as I go through it what we're going to talk about. Now, traditionally, you buy life insurance like when you're young. When I was younger, I would buy life insurance on myself, usually a term policy, because with term, you can get lots of insurance for very little money. And that's because they only sell you term when they know you're not going to die except for accidents and things. They're very low probability of death. And you really want that, because if I was to die and Sam and her sister Katie were little girls, we'd want to pay off the house, send them to college, have money for Sandy. So you really need a lot of insurance then to replace the income lost if one of you dies. Is there an income replacement when you're in retirement? Well, in fact, there is. If you're married and listening to us, I know that you're going to have an income drop, because one of the things we have is Social Security. And if you're married, you'll both have Social Security. Now, Sam, if two people are married and are collecting Social Security and one of them dies, what does the survivor get?
The higher of the two Social Securities.
The higher of the two Social Securities.
Yep.
Now, let's just say, for instance, you both had great careers, and you were getting $2,500 a month in Social Security, and that might be that's about $30,000 a year each. One of you dies, the surviving spouse is going to lose $30,000 in income a year.
Wow.
And let's say they go and live on, usually us men crap out, ladies go on for a long time. Let's say they go on for 10 more years. That's $300,000 lost income. So you, depending on the rest of your situation, you may say, I want to be ready to replace that Social Security. Now, we also have pensions. And a lot of people, they have a pension, but if they die, that pension drops or even goes away. Now, one of the important decisions you'll make is how you take your pension and what options you get. And that's one thing we help people with. But for whatever reason, some people have pensions that do decrease. And so the spouse is going to see an income drop. And again, you might use life insurance to replace that. In fact, sometimes you let the pension drop deliberately because you've replaced it with life insurance. It's called pension maximization. I'm going to give you an example that is the worst case I have ever seen. And it's very dear to me because it was one of my early clients. This was a client from 18 years ago that I worked with. And he was a school teacher from New York or one of the New England states, and he had a pension, and it was a great, well, his pension and Social Security were combined together. A lot of state workers, they put these two together, and he was getting something like $75,000 a year in pension, combined pension and Social Security, all in this pot. And it had an inflation rider on it. So boy, as long as he was alive, they had plenty of money to live on. If he died, now he did this before I met him. I have no idea why he did it. He took no survivorship. If he died, income went to zero. His wife would have nothing, no pension, no Social Security, nothing if he died.
Oh no.
That's a mess. Now he had about $300,000 in an IRA. That's what his wife had to live on. Now, if he lived for 20 years, let's say he was 65, if he lived to 85, that would have grown to maybe $1 million, he'd be okay. I mean, he's not going to touch this because this is for his wife if he dies. But let's say he died instead next week. His wife, for the rest of her life, had $300,000. That's all she had. How should we invest that? What we did is we took it, and every year we took $30,000 out for 10 years, and we put it into a life policy. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was like $1 million. So we took the 30 out, we paid the tax, and the rest locked in $1 million. And there's a lot of fancy policies that you can use that say if I make 10 payments, I guarantee that life insurance is locked in for as long as you live. So it's a guaranteed death benefit based on a 10 pay, say. So this, now if he died right away, if he died the next day, he might have made one. See, remember how life insurance works. So let's say he was paying it monthly. He made one payment in here for 1 month's worth of premium. If he died the next day, the insurance company would give her $1 million tax-free, plus they'd have almost all the $300,000 in the IRA left. So there's one example for income replacement and how it works. Next one, and you know, I'll tell you, here's one thing about life insurance. You all probably remember the dial-up phone on the wall, right? It was stuck to the wall, and you literally had to stick your finger in and dial, or maybe the one that sat on the desk and was a party line. Remember, with the metal thing, you know. Those were the old phones, and that's kind of like life insurance. Life insurance was like those old phones back then. Today, we have new phones, and you know, my phone here, well, it tells me what temperature it is when I get up. If I go walk the dog, it'll tell me whether the rain's going to stop soon and I should wait or I should walk the dog now. It plays music. I can cruise the internet with it. I can tune my hammer dulcimer with it. And in a real pinch, I can even use it to make phone calls, right? The new life insurance has a lot more options like phones do. And here's one. It used to be, to benefit from your life insurance, you had to die, right? I mean, nothing really, there was no good till you die. Insurance companies started to get smart. And the last few years, they said, hey, if someone needs they realize that people need long-term care, and they hate buying long-term care insurance because you hate paying all that money, for something you hope you never need. And boy, today they're so expensive that if I showed you a policy, you wouldn't buy it, because I wouldn't buy it. They just don't seem to make sense. So they said, look, if somebody has a a $300,000 policy here, and they need long-term care, or even they can't do 2 activities of daily living and they want care at home, they know that statistically they probably don't have long to go. So what they're gonna say is something like, we'll let you take this out over 4 years. We'll let you take out 1/4 of it every year and use it for those long-term care expenses. So, and that way your spouse, your family doesn't have to spend down the other money. They can use the life insurance policy. If you die halfway through, you still get what's left. And if you never need long-term care, you pass the whole bit on to your family tax-free. So, and there's now we've had some questions. One question is, should I buy term or permanent? When they usually won't sell you term much later than age 80 because they know you might die. We're really talking about permanent policies, whole life or indexed life. There's a lot of new fancy, more than we can go into in this half hour. There's a lot of new fancy ways to structure life policies. But now they can have long-term care. In fact, I'll tell you the latest thing, and these are getting better and better. I need to start bringing these up at every review. Let's say you have $100,000 sitting in a money market. You just want to have it in case you need it, but you don't want to put it in the stock market. You can put it into a life policy and you can get probably another $200,000, depends on your age and such, but you can get another $200,000 in death benefit that you can also use for long-term care. The $100,000 you can get back out at any time. In fact, it'll probably earn some interest, probably more interest than you're earning in your money market. And so if you got lazy money that's kind of parked there just in case money, this is a place you can leverage it and get even more and probably come out ahead even when you decide to cash it in and take it out. We had a question, some people have sent in questions once, said, do I need underwriting? Yeah, if you buy life insurance when you're retired, you still have to go through underwriting. These policies where you give a big lump sum, the underwriting is a lot simpler, and often they do it over the phone while you wait because they know that you're not buying, you're not putting in a tiny little bit and having a lot of death benefit. That 300,000 would include the 100 you put in there. But anyway, so that's another place where healthcare, where long-term care can come in. And it's not only long-term care, some of them will pay you even if you have a heart attack or cancer. We had a client. Yeah.
I just want to make you look at the time because I noticed you have 4 more.
Yeah, you're right. I better get going. Okay. It also, besides long-term care, can work for healthcare. Now, there is a saying that you buy life insurance for 2 reasons. You love someone more than yourself, or you hate taxes. Nothing works better for getting money to your heirs, wealth transfer, tax-free, than life insurance. I mean, that is what it's designed for. If you have a policy that's owned by you that goes to a family member or a person, it goes tax-free. And so again, if you have an IRA that's taxable, and you just say, I'm going to take some out, pay the tax, and instead of putting it into a Roth, I'm going to put it into a life insurance, I can instantly get a lot more tax-free money guaranteed going to my heirs. So, and now you can see if I stack that up with a long-term care benefits in there, how these things work. So again, it depends on you. The other thing to think about is death tax, estate tax. Right now, if you remember, if you die with too much money, the government takes about half of what's above a certain amount. Right now, that amount is $11.7 million a person. So it's not really a problem for most people. But, you know, we're racking up more and more money on our country's credit card, and we got to pay it back. And where are we going to get those taxes? Well, guess what? Dead people don't vote. So there's talk of bringing this back down to the $3 million level. This number really, since the Spanish-American War, has gone back up and down all the time. So what people do there is they take and they put the life insurance policy in a trust that's outside the estate. So they're sure to pass it on tax-free. And they get the leverage because I can put a little bit of money in here and get a whole lot of life insurance and pass that on to my heirs, or let them use that to pay the taxes on the remaining estate, especially if you have a farm or a business. Okay, where am I, Sam? What's next on the list? Income. Income. Okay, I'll go through this. How are we doing for? I'll go through this real quick.
Maybe we should have made our life insurance a two-parter.
Yeah, you know, I probably should have. Maybe we should come back and do.
Maybe we should, because I don't want you to rush. We have a lot.
I'm going to do we had a couple of minutes. I'm going to do one or two more. We'll talk about income at another time. Charity. If you want to leave money to a charity, and we had a question, can I have multiple beneficiaries on a policy? Yeah, you can take a policy and say, this is for a charity and this is for my kids, and you can have this policy go to wherever you want. But here's an even cooler strategy. Let's say you got an IRA, you know you're not going to use, you want to pass on to the kids, but you also want to give money to a church or a charity. You take your IRA and you begin paying it into a life policy that goes tax-free to your kids, right? When you die, part of this IRA is used up, but you've guaranteed way more tax-free to the kids than the IRA. The part that's left in the IRA, you give the charity. Because if you give it to charity, there's no tax on it. They get it tax-free. You left it to the kids, it'd be taxable. So you take so one strategy is to take your IRA, take life insurance, leave that to the kids, and let the charity have what's left of the IRA so they get it tax-free. Another way to maximize it. And one last thing here is you may have an old policy you had for 20, 30 years. You bought it when you were younger. It's got a lot of cash in it. You can swap it out. You can, if you're still reasonably healthy, and the underwriting is not as bad as you think. If you're reasonably healthy, you can take it and swap it for one of these new policies that have all these extra benefits. And so you can utilize the cash in an old policy to get you even more things. So, boy, that was quick. We need it. Well, we'll come back and do some more. We'll do some more later. If you like this, if this is of interest, type in the comments, send us an email on it. And Amy, if they want us to look at their situation and get a kind of a free, no cost obligation look at theirs, what should they do? How can they get in touch with us?
They can do a couple of things. They can call the office at 910-815-3100. And I doubt anybody's writing that down. I will put all this in the comments. They can also send us an email to info@carolinarp.com, or they can book directly on your calendar. I'll put a link in the comments for everybody if you're okay with that.
Yeah, you can get on our calendar and get a 15-minute phone call and just chat about it. And so the link will be in there. There's also an email you got with this. You can reply to that, the email announcing it. So boy, I guess I'm trying to bite off more than I can chew. 20 minutes is shorter than you think, So
6 bullet points in there.
Yeah. So let us know whether this is good. So what's next we got a couple of minutes left, Sam. This is the favorite part, I think, next.
Yeah. Are we ready for my favorite part?
Yeah.
I was literally in the car racing here when my mom was driving. I was not driving and writing, but my mom was driving. Amy sent me a list of all of our names, and I was in the car scribbling, trying to get all the names in our bucket for today. So it's time for our favorite time, the wine drawing. For those of you who don't know, the way to enter our wine drawing each week is simple. Any way that you can communicate that you want to get in the wine drawing. So if you are on Facebook, if you see our Facebook listing for the event each week, you just have to click that you are going. If you say that you are going, we will give you an entry. If you share the event with friends, we will give you another additional entry. If you, throughout the week, we send a few email blasts. If you respond to the email blast with a potential future topic, a question about this week's topic, or you just say, enter me into the wine drawing, we'll get your name in here. If you forward that email to a friend, letting them know about the happy half hour, and let us know that you've done that, we'll put your name in the hat again. Pretty much any way that you can, just send us a carrier pigeon, give us a call, just let us know you want to get some wine, and we'll put your name here and here as well. So this week, winning 2 bottles of wine from Fermental Bottle Shop, located in Ogden. They are a really cool family-owned bottle shop. If you have not gone and checked them out, they're a really great place to go on a really beautiful day. They've got a good patio, lots of lights, good picnic tables. They have music. It's a really cool spot if you're out in that area. But our winner this week is Bart D. So
Congratulations,
Bart. And actually I'm happy that this is happening because Bart and his family for Christmas gave us a bottle of wine, of personally branded wine. So I'm glad that we're able to return the favor. So congratulations, Bart. You have won our wine this week.
Congrats. And so I hope this was good. I see some comments said, hey, they'd like to see a part 2 of this. So we'll have to bring on a part 2, go into more detail, but a lot of potential here. Like I say, it's sort of the Swiss Army knife of financial products, all the things it can do. Mm-hmm. So, we have not yet come up with a topic for next week. You can still send us an email with what you like to hear. And
I think our topic for next week would be part 2 of this.
Think we should do part 2 of this? Okay,
Yeah,
next week we will do part 2 of life insurance and make that happen. So just hope everybody's having a good time, slowly getting vaccinated and eventually. Although I don't know if we'll ever stop doing happy half hour. This has been really good. This has been a good little piece. So, okay. Well, with that, I guess we can say cheers, everybody, and
cheers.
Have a good week. Have a good week. We'll see you next week, Thursday, 4:30.
Yeah. Happy Easter, everyone, as well.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.